Little baby Christmas Oogie Boogie. What's going on, everybody? Critic and the Common Man. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Whatever it is you're celebrating.
Kwanzaa.
May you celebrate it well. We are here with another Christmas special. What did I wear this hat for already? Oh, Jingle Jangle. That's what it was. We are back with another one. Up today, the sequel to the very good and very interesting Christmas Chronicles. We will be talking about the Christmas Chronicles franchise, as it has become. Christmas Chronicles both 1 and 2. We will be talking about the sharp decline, spoiler warning, to Christmas Chronicles 2.
Very
Not
steep.
saying I didn't like it.
Very, very steep decline.
Yeah, this is your one and only spoiler warning. If you haven't watched Christmas Chronicles 1 or 2, click off of here. Go check them out on Netflix and then come on back. Chris, let's jump into this, man. I roped you into this because, actually, I think my in-laws were the ones that recommended we watch Christmas Chronicles. I didn't know how I felt about the idea of Kurt Russell being Santa Claus, and quite honestly, he blew me away in his performance of Santa. I thought he was a fantastic Santa.
Yeah.
What did you think? Let's just start with Christmas Chronicles 1, kind of overarching, and then we'll jump into the second one here in a minute.
I really liked the first one. I had never seen it before up until this. I don't know why. I know, Marcy. I know you're upset with me. Okay, I tried. Okay, we had a conversation about this before. Can we? Yeah. I really, really liked it. Even the parts of the movie of the first one that were like cheesy were done so well that it was just funny. Like, you know, like when they're going after the reindeer and the officer sees them take off, but nobody else sees it. You know, in prison, you know, like when he's in jail, like literally any person. I was thinking about this, like any person that met a guy looking like him that said, "I'm Santa Claus." If I was an officer, I'd lock him up too. I'd be like, dude, you're stalking me. What do you, like, how do you know all this information?
The first Christmas Chronicles, I think, hits all the marks for a good classic Christmas movie. It becomes a new classic. Kurt Russell has something really lovable about him. He's got the look, absolutely. I actually think that's his real beard, and it might not be.
I think it is, yeah, because you remember him in...
It looks legitimate.
Guardians 2.
Yes, Guardians 2, and was it The Hateful Eight? What else was he in that he had a beard? I think he had a beard and something like that, too.
I think he was... I remember... Was that him in A Hateful Eight? I didn't even realize.
Was it? I thought that was Kurt Russell. It's been a long time, man.
It might have been. It makes sense.
A long time. Maybe. We'll look into that. Don't take our word for that. But, dude, it hits all the marks. Kurt Russell is a great Santa Claus, super lovable, funny. He's got that kind of cool demeanor to him.
Which is funny because I know him from Stargate. Like,
yeah, you know him from way back.
Like the original Stargate when he's like buff and lean and he's got his freaking chiseled jaw. He's just in like a green tank top.
Right. And then we get the Christmas Chronicles 2. And you see something like this come out on Netflix and you don't really know what to think about it because, well, I will say that the Christmas Chronicles was a fantastic Christmas movie. It didn't ever at any point seem to me like there needed to be a sequel of that movie made.
No.
Like there's some movies that just you can tell they're supposed to be a one and done and that probably should stay that way. And I think Christmas Chronicles very much was a movie that probably only should have had one.
Yeah,
of.
And they didn't make a second one, so that's great. And we can wrap this up then.
And our Christmas wish has been answered.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the second one a little bit. Obviously, this is the new one, the one we're going to talk a little more about. Most people have seen Christmas Chronicles from a couple years ago. I had a hard time getting into this one from the very beginning. And although I'll say the Christmas Chronicles, and you and I had kind of talked about this, a minute ago. Although the Christmas Chronicles 1 definitely was a family movie, you could even say maybe it's a kid's movie. Excuse me. Somehow the Christmas Chronicles 2 feels strictly like a little kid's movie and has very little to enjoy for an older audience.
Yes, agreed. Very much so.
And I think a lot of that was those stupid elves and all the elvish and like it was too much.
Yeah, they were trying to be minions.
They were trying to be minions.
Yeah,
yep,
they were trying to go for that cute,
minions.
like... tiny, you don't know what they're saying, but they're funny.
Yeah, and something about Kurt Russell interacting with the minions, and you got Goldie Hawn, who, again, the two of them, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, right? Wasn't that Goldie Hawn?
Yeah, it is.
Kurt Russell, I'm pretty sure it is. The two of them together, dude, that's a Goldie Hawn. That's a knockout cast for a Christmas movie. They've got the look down. They've got the character down. And for all the things that Christmas Chronicles 2 did wrong, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn were not it.
No.
Their acting was really convincing. They were very much into it. It didn't feel like they were mailing it in. But the plot was weak. The Belschnickel kid.
It was
kid,
weird
dude.
because he looked too human but not elf enough. Like it was, I don't know, his little
He's
version was like just
literally
really
the
creepy.
same kid that he was in Deadpool. They just pulled him out of Deadpool and put him into this dude.
What?
That was totally the Deadpool kid. There's no way that was not the kid from Deadpool. The kid in Deadpool who's like goes on fire and is like the little killer angsty kid.
Whoa. Forgot about that.
That's got to be the same kid. That's got to be the same kid. And he's literally the exact same character.
Is it the same kid?
Not even.
Let's see.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Let me check.
I was going to put it in post, but...
Okay, yeah, we can check it out. It's got to be Julian Dennison. I'm pretty sure that's him. Yes, it's the exact same kid. And it's like not only is it the same actor who's playing this kid, he's the exact same character. I could not take that seriously at all.
Angsty teenager.
The super angsty teenager who's like hates Christmas and he's talking to elves and he's got what do they call it? The cat? The Yule cat. He's got the Yule cat going.
Is that what it... Oh, that's right. Yeah. Although that thing was pretty
giant
cool.
Yule cat. Yeah, well, I will say, unfortunately, Christmas Chronicles 1 was a blast. Great movie. I'd recommend it to anybody. This was another case of a sequel coming out that fell completely flat. Mm-hmm. I wasn't into it. So, as always, we kind of tried to find positives and negatives. What did you like about this one, Chris? Christmas Chronicles 2.
The set design was amazing. The set that they built of this like town and everything was great. They did their best to set up this world, and I like the story. I like the idea of the Star of Bethlehem being this like power source. So,
dude, did you know that the sun, if it if the vacuum of space, let's forget the laws of physics for a second. If they could transport sound waves, do you know that the sound from the sun would be so deafening, like 24/7, that they think humans would have evolved to like not have ears because you never would have been able to use them? Like all of the like energy coming off of the sun, people think that the surface of the sun would be so loud because of the amount of energy and the sound waves rippling off of it, that if it didn't just dissipate into the vacuum of space, if they had a medium to transfer through, the sound from the sun would be so deafening that humans would never have ears because you wouldn't be able to hear you would never be able to discern anything other than the sound of the sun all the time.
Thank God for the void of space.
Thank God for the void of space, indeed. It shall be our eventual demise and also our savior.
Yep.
Wow, okay, so Christmas Chronicles 2.
So anyways.
Yeah, right? Star of Bethlehem, man.
Yeah.
It's not really a star. Oh, my God.
Every third blink is slower.
You know what? It is true, though, that the set design in Christmas Chronicles 2 was really good. And we saw that in Jingle Jangle also.
We did see a little bit of it, yeah.
Movies now where the set design was pretty killer. They did a good job of that.
Yeah, I mean, the acting wasn't terrible. Like, the main actors were good. I didn't like the kid as much. Like in the beginning of the movie, the kid was just terrible.
Didn't like him as much.
He got better throughout the movie, but like everything was just so campy. The way they reacted to everything, it was like, "Wow, Christmas!" Like, okay, like let's chill out. You have literally met Santa before. Like, let's be cool.
That was my whole thing too. Like this girl's talking about immediately how she's like doesn't believe in Christmas and hates Santa. I'm like, you've like interacted with him in the whole first movie. Like, why are you so quick to just shut this whole thing down?
Yeah, it felt a little forced. Just everything felt too forced.
It felt forced, and it just felt like the target audience for this thing went down in age by about 10 years.
Yeah.
Christmas Chronicles 1, I would not say
there was plenty.
There was definitely enjoy that.
There was a lot of adult humor in the first one.
Absolutely.
And they called themselves out on the silly, like when again, just to go back to the first one, when Santa was like in jail, and like the kids were like talking, they're like, man, Santa must be freaking out, and then it just cuts and he's just singing like in the jail. I was dying laughing. I was like, that's great. That is perfect editing. It's good humor. Everybody understands it. They were talking about drug use in jail and stuff, you know.
Right.
It was clever. It was funny. This one, you're right. The target audience, like it dropped by like 10 years. You're right.
Way down. It was just Christmas Chronicles 1, a much better movie. Obviously, a lot easier to pick out things you don't like in these films, especially with a film like this. The premise of the whole thing and him sneaking into Santa's, oh my God, what's the place? Wakanda. Them sneaking into Wakanda. In the North Pole to like infiltrate and make the elves go crazy. It's predictable and it's not a very interesting plot and it's just kind of dumb.
Yeah,
it's just kind of dumb.
I could not stop laughing when just thinking about it. I hope I can find a clip for it because I'm gonna die laughing fucking editing this. When Belsnickel was, like when he was like in the village or whatever, and then he just hooked himself up to the drone. And it just lifted him off, and he started flying away. I was like, "What?" It's like, "What is happening?"
You're like, what kind of fucking drone are they using, man?
Man,
it's amazing, dude. And they're like shooting things out of the sky with Nerf guns and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. And she's giving him cookies that are actually, it's all your favorite foods, but it all tastes like cake.
Yeah,
it's like, well, okay. They're just trying to create this fantasy world that a 10-year-old kid would like. So, I'm sorry for putting you through the second one. I saw the first one, and I thought it was really good.
I liked the first one. I watched them back to back.
Follow suit.
I literally watched one. I liked it. I was like, oh, we got to watch the second one now. So we watched the second one.
Cool, second one. Pop it in. And then, I guess pop it in would be referring to something else since it's on Netflix. But, take a little 30-minute movie break. But... yeah, you watch the second one and it just went so far downhill. They tried too hard. The demographic was a miss. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, man. It wasn't received very well. So Christmas Chronicles, the first one, was received pretty well, especially by Rotten Tomatoes.
Probably
standards.
Like an 80%.
So it received a 67% critic score, and it received a 77% audience score. So 77% is not a bad score.
No.
Rotten Tomatoes is pretty good at tearing people apart. This movie also came out a couple years ago. And then Christmas Chronicles 2, take your guesses, Chris, for how you think Christmas Chronicles 2 was received. It may surprise you.
Christmas Chronicles 2, I would say critics probably gave it a 30 to 40%. And to the audience maybe in the high 60s.
So you're definitely more on the right track with the audience. This surprised me, dude. As of right now, the critic score for Christmas Chronicles 2 is a 71%. That's way too high.
Better than the first one?
Better. First one got, what did I say, 77? I think the first one was a 77.
For the audience, though.
No, the first one was a 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right. I mean, those scores are way off, dude. And this is what we preach about. This is one of the reasons we did this podcast, is because we were talking about these reviews for movies and how they're just not right. I mean, I'm sorry, but who is watching Christmas Chronicles 2 and then going and saying it's better than the Christmas Chronicles 1?
It's not. You're wrong.
Maybe a 7-year-old kid, but they're not writing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's just not right. I mean, there's no way, in no sense of these movies was anything better. I would say some parts of it were equally as good. I would say Kurt Russell's acting was equally as good. Goldie Hawn was great, but there's no way this movie's better. Where do you rate this thing as compared to that?
Well,
as compared to a 71 and a 51.
I'm rating it off of the musical numbers in the movie, and the prison musical number was way better than the airport musical number. It was pretty cool that she got to meet her dad. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
kind of weird.
A little weird,
but okay.
A little weird because
I didn't know if they were like trying to put some sort of weird love tension there.
Yeah, I kind of got that too, and I was like, what?
I felt weird for even thinking it because it's like a kid, but I was like, oh, this is very weird tone that they're setting right here at the end of this movie.
But no, I have to compare it to the first one. I have to. If I'm going to give it a score based, are we doing both of them or just the second one?
Let's start. You know what? Let's start with one. Let's take a step back. Rate 1, and then rate 2, and then I'll rate 1 and 2.
Okay. The first one, as a Christmas movie, I'm leaning towards an 8, but I feel like the more the number that I think stands out the most to me, the one that would make more sense, I think is like a 7.5. It's a strong movie. It's a strong Christmas movie. I think there are better Christmas movies. Just because I'm a huge fan of like the original Santa Claus movie. I don't like the other ones, but the original Santa Claus is just really good. I think it just has a little more of that like adult humor while still being a Christmas movie. This one has that, but not as much. Are you talking about
The Santa Claus with Tim Allen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah. That's a great movie.
Yeah, so that, in my opinion, is the best movie with Santa Claus in it.
Okay.
except for maybe Fat Man. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I think a 7.5 for the first one. This one, the second one, it just took a huge. I feel like the story was written by completely different people.
It must have been.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we looked at, well, you keep going and I'll try to verify that.
But I'm going to give the second one a 4. I think that if it's, I'm comparing the two as if they're from the same genre and assuming the first one wasn't necessarily a kid's movie and the second one kind of feels like it is, but because it's a sequel, it shouldn't be. So I don't know. I'm going to give it a 4 because I think if we're looking at the same target audience, the movie fell flat. If we're looking at it
Agreed.
From a kid's movie, probably something more like a 6 or a 7. But it's the I think it's the same target audience.
When you make a sequel, the sequel has to be for the same target audience the first.
Otherwise,
one
what are you
I don't
doing?
think you can make a sequel that's for a different audience than what the original was made for.
Right. So a 7.5 for Chronicles 1, and for Chronicles 2, I think a 4. It did not deliver at all.
Okay. I'm pretty much with you. I think I'm gonna go a little higher on 1. In rewatching it, I ended up really liking it. And I was just so pleasantly surprised with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. I just thought he was a great choice. That was good. I really enjoy it. I think it's a kind of an underrated film. I actually think I'm going to bump that up and go to an 8. Yeah. I think I'm going to give Christmas Chronicles 1 an 8. I really do like it.
I mean, just like seeing him go into like the restaurant and like talk to people and, like talking about the guy who stole the car and shit, like all that. It was just clever. It was really clever.
What's that saying? Can it hold a candle? Can it hold a flame? Can it hold a flame to some of the classics like The Santa Claus or even like Miracle on 34th Street or whatever, like some of the just really classic Christmas movies. Maybe not, but it's a modern comedic take on a Christmas movie, and I think Kurt Russell is a great choice for it. I'm going to give that one an 8. I think I'm probably right there with you on the second one of being a 4. I still like the acting from some of the main characters. I really do. The second
it's not the worst one we've ever, like the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen. But
no way, no, and it's certainly not the worst movie we've ever watched for this podcast. That's for sure. It just felt like all of a sudden I was too old for this movie.
It was cheesy. Yeah, exactly. You just felt too old for it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get that when you watch the first one, and then you put the second one on, and it's, oh, well, I'm 10 years too old to be watching this movie. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm 20 years too old to be watching this movie. Honestly, it kind of fell flat for me a little bit. So, yeah, I think an 8 and a 4 for me. That's it. Ho, 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 everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We're getting right through it. Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of the franchise. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Fair is fair. Jump over to our Instagram, Critic and the Common Man on Instagram. You can see some hilarious content. Still options to get some giveaways just in time for Christmas. And then, that's it. Drop a subscribe if this is your first time watching us. We've got all kinds of movie reviews, TV show reviews. We also take recommendations.
We have over 100 episodes at this point.
That's crazy, man. It feels like we just started this thing. But that's it, guys. So, Critic and the Common Man, Merry Christmas. Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2, reviewed. We're out of here. So long, everybody.
I'm putting in Christmas bells right here.